What's going on, guys? So in this video I want to talk about market flipping bags specifically. So there's so many items in this game, it's hard to make one video for all of them, so I'm thinking about making a series for each category of item. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is a good idea, if you'd be interested in this. But yeah, I'm going to start off with bags and share my experience and my opinion on how to flip these for profit, which ones to avoid, and if you guys are interested, I can start making them for other categories and just go right down the line from capes to different armors. I mean, this could be a ton of videos, but let me know. All right, so here we go. Starting off with bags. So you can just literally sort by accessories and bag, and then you'll get a list of all of them if you're in the Create Buy Order tab. And this will give you a list of all the bags. Now, it doesn't go by quality, so that's another layer, which we'll go into in a second. But if you're just looking at like the simplest form, the most basic form, novice bag here, it'll give you the average sold is about 700, 800, and then the prices here. This one I really wouldn't flip because I tend to look for items with at least 30% profit margin. This one has 23%, and it's very low silver. So I would skip this one. This is another one that's low margin because a lot of competition, 1600, 1700 sold a day. As we get further up here, we get a little better margin. This one would be 25%, about the same, but you would get more silver per item, and you have like 1500 to 2000 actually being sold per day, so you have a good chance for your orders to be filled. This one might be the first one that we would look at, because even though it's 25%, it's still decent. So if you're going to buy it, it would cost you $41.26 after the selfie, and I do have premium, so keep that in mind. And then if you sell it, you'll probably get 5,000. So if you're thinking about doing this one, you'd be getting around 900 profit after selfie and the setup fees per item. And generally, I like to go off of like a 5% rule. So if these are sold, let's say 600 per day, I'm probably lucky if I can get 30 of these filled of my buy order. So if I put a buy order for 30, and you guys got to play around with this too, because the more you put in, the more chance you'll get items filled, but it's less of a chance that it'll get filled before these 30 are filled. So you'll have to edit it, and then you have to pay the fee of whatever's remaining. So that's really a balance that I can't teach you guys. You got to see for yourselves based on your silver and your risk tolerance of what you want to do. I would just, for me, I have like 5 million silver right now, so I'm just going to go with 30 and put a buy order in for the Adepts bags. Let's check out the rare ones here. We'll just say 21 divided by 16.4. This one's about 28% margin. However, you'd only be getting maybe a few. What does this come out to? Maybe 4 per day. But if you do 4 and you get, let's say, so it costs you 16,800. Maybe you sell it, you get 20. Let's round down to 20,000. So maybe you're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 profit a day of flipping this one times 4. So maybe I'll get like 12,000 a day of profit. Is it worth, doing this order? I would say probably not, because unless it's worth it for you, but for me, I would say I would skip this one and look for a better flip, because I don't think the 12,000 silver a day is worth it, especially because you're putting up 67,000 silver, which is pretty significant, depending on how much silver you have. But just in the scheme of things, percentage-wise, wouldn't be worth it for me. Now, as you get further up, you'll see, like in the higher enchanted, less people want these, because let's say this gives you 124 kilograms of space. This gives you like a little bit more 157 kg, and people aren't willing to spend when they could just get a bag for 2,500. They're not willing to spend 90,000 on this because most likely these people buy these for PvP, just cheap bags. They'll go into the black zones, red zones, and this way they're not risking. They're going to invest their money somewhere else in their build. It's probably going to be in their weapon or their armor or something like that. Bag is probably the least thing you're likely to invest money in, which is why these quantities sold as you get higher up in the enchanting is much less. So you go from quantity sold 6, and then on the lower tier you're looking at 1,500, 1,600, and people are less likely to craft with higher materials because there's less demand, and that just flows into the whole thing. So market flipping wise, just avoid. This one's quantity sold 0 for pristine. Just avoid, I would say, for exceptional and pristine for the most part, even for the higher tier bags. Like this one, you might get 1. So if you're looking to put in 145,000, you might get lucky and get 1 filled. And maybe you'll get 40, 50,000 for, and the margin on this one is 34%. So I mean, if you have the silver to do that, and you could leave in 150,000, I would say so. Go ahead. It's hard to make one video because everyone has a different amount of silver, but concept wise, you got to see if it's worth risking or keeping 150,000 in there, paying a 3,600 setup fee, and then if you have that silver to leave in there until the buy order fills, you have a chance of getting extra 40,000 or about 30, maybe 25% after fees. So 35% before fees and the sell fee, the setup fees and the sell fee. So I'm just going to put this one in actually because it would be worth it for me for the expert bag. And so I got tome and a healing potion so far while we've been talking. No bags yet, but still pristine. I would avoid. Another low margin for the uncommon expert bag. Keep going up the list. Now, the reason why most of these margins are pretty bad, like this is like what, 5% margin, 6%. So you'd never do that one. Now this one margin looks, these are like the risk trade-offs as I mentioned. So the one on here, this is another 34%. So if you put in up 400,000 silver, you're likely to get 100,000 profit after fees, but it's very rare. You might get 1 filled if you're lucky for the day. So only if you have tons of silver, you have millions and millions, then this would be worth it. For me, I mean, it wouldn't really be worth it right now. I have 5 million. That would be about what, 10% of my 8% of my overall silver at the moment, and I could find other things that are better to flip. Now I'm just going down the line here with whatever's shown in the buy order, but as I mentioned before, you can go into more depth into the quality. So being that I didn't find anything really profitable right now because these margins, most people just go down the list, but to get actually some decent finds, you got to dig a little bit deeper. So let's say if I want to look at Adept bags, now the normal ones sell for about 300, 400 a day. Now if you're going to go to good, you could see all these change. So now you're at 1,100, and it changes slightly. So you have 5,200, but then as you get further up to like excellent, you'll see how the margin actually shifts. So it goes from, what are we looking at, like 20% margin to, for excellent bags, you're looking at, and actually it still shows your other one. So I put this one in. So I have my other buy order as I showed you guys for the Adepts bag, but that's normal quality. So it kind of throws you off a little bit. But if I want to go to excellent quality, you'd have to put a separate buy order in. Let's say I'll do 20. And 7,000 divided by 4,000, that's 75% margin on this. I mean, and the price is normally around 7,000. You could see in the past it jumped up to like 10,000. So you're 100% likely to sell this at this price. So I'm going to put this in for excellent. And if I go by the 5% rule, you're looking at maybe 10 you'll get per day, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you multiply 10 by the whatever 3,000 of profit you'll get, then you'll get 30,000 for only 82,000 of silver that you're putting in, and the fee is not even much because you're not putting up much silver. Now, what I would do too, some things when I see like people are underselling. So if I go back to the excellent enchanted one, I'll actually buy this for 7,000 because I'm more than likely to sell it for 7,000 anyway, and I actually could make 700 silver right here. Now you guys might be saying this is not much profit, but the concept of it really adds up. If you use this concept on, whatever level of silver you're at. If let's say you're gonna do, and I'll move up to let's say masterpieces. Now this is another one where the margin is crazy. Let's say 50,000 divided by 4,600. So you could triple your money, but you might only get one if you're lucky for the day. So I mean, I would actually throw one or two in there because it can't really hurt. You leave 15,000 silver in there for a chance of getting one, and that's an instant, 10,000 silver for only 14,000 silver. Or you could just do one if you want, but it can't hurt to, just in case, put those in. But as I mentioned before, this is just the lowest tier. You can go up to, let's say, if you have more silver, let's try master bags, right? Let's try excellent master bag. Still margin not great on this. I mean, you're looking at 29%, which is decent. Maybe you'll get $8. So maybe you'll get 64,000 of profit for putting up 300,000, which is not too bad. If I go to the uncommon one and I go to do the same process, this would be 89 divided by 64, 39% margin. So this is one I would actually really look at. Quantity sold per day is around, let's say, 100. And the 5% rule is just what I've experienced. I mean, people could craft bags and all your orders could be filled if you put in, 20 at once. So that's just random depending on who's actually selling to your buy order. Whether they're crafters or just gankers that killed someone and they're selling the master bag and they want to be on their way, sell the stuff immediately and then go back to PvPing. That's more likely. But even if I get 5 of these, that's like 100,000 of profit. So if I put 5 in here, I'm putting in 330,000 of my silver with a setup fee of 8,000. But I have a good chance of getting these filled, or at least a few of these filled, for 10,000 profit a piece. Probably even more. Let's say 89 divided by 64. So after fees, so let's say 30% I'm still getting. So really it's closer to 20,000 per. So yeah, that's where the 100,000 comes in of profit. Now, likely before I have to edit it, I'll probably maybe only get 1 or 2, and then I'll have to edit for another 6,000 or so setup fee. But even so, you're spending 15,000, so maybe like 350,000 total for a profit of 100,000. I mean, that's a third of what you're putting up in a day. So I would definitely do this one. Good margin, and I would say definitely worth it to flip. And you could apply the same concepts as you go further up the chain. Let's say, excellent quantity sold. Maybe you'll get 1 of these, but you get like 40,000, 50,000 of profit from this one master bag. I don't I haven't, but you could definitely do the same concept with satchels. For some reason, I don't see the margin as much. So if I go to, let's say, an uncommon one, see it's like 23,000 divided by 20. It's like 15%. Still a little bit of profit with that after fees, maybe 6-7% profit, but I don't actually know why the margins are so much thinner on the satchels than they are on the bags. I think in general, most people, I mean, these are more combat based, but from what I've seen, most people are more likely to use just regular bags than the satchels because they don't really care about they'd rather have the storage space, whether they're gathering or ganking, because they need more space for the items or resources. And they don't really need the extra combat fame at the cost of silver. That's just my opinion. I mean, that's personally why I use the bags. But whether you have, 50, 100,000 silver or you have 10, 20 million silver, you just have to determine how much you're willing to put in to, to flip or risk or hold your silver in there when you have the opportunity to put it in something else. For me, let's say this is another one that might be good. Very low buy or sell, but it's 37% margin, and I'm very likely to get one of these. So I'll put one in for a chance to get 80,000 of profit when I could sell this Elder's bag. And then if I go to the uncommon one, much less competition, so I wouldn't even bother with any of these for any quality. I mean, yeah, you get like 100,000, but you're putting up 1 million, and it could be sitting there for a day or two before you get outbid. So if you're just starting out, I would try it out with starting with, let's say, excellent journeyman's bags as like the beginner one, and you have put in some orders and see how they fill. And this way you could edit it. The setup fee will only be 40 silver. And there's more competition, I would say, with these lower bags, but the fees aren't as much. So if you're playing a lot and you have low silver and you could edit it a few times a day, I would focus on these. If you don't play as much, I would focus on like the higher enchanted bags, because they won't have as much competition. You won't get as much profit, but you're more likely to get it filled before you get outbid. And then if you have more silver, I would focus on going up ranks to maybe tier 5, tier 6 bags, even tier 7, where the average demand is not as much, but you'll make more profit per order. So you got to determine how you play, whether you're editing a lot of orders for cheaper for that kind of profit, or you want to do like once a day for like higher tier items and you don't mind putting up a lot of silver. You just have to determine for yourself what's the risk reward, and it's really determined by which bag, like which tier bag, whether it's 4, 5, 6, and also which enchantment. As you go up, there's less demand, less competition, but less chance your buy order sold or buy order filled, or you're able to sell it. So you got to think about that too, the time to actually get it filled, and then the time you actually have to sell it to finally get the profit. And I guess the final one is going to be determining your overall risk, and if bags aren't what you're looking for to do, maybe there's another item that's more profitable to put your silver into. And if you have a ton of silver and a ton of time, then yeah, I would say go for maybe these excellent quality master bags, tier 6, uncommon, even rare. I mean, because you have more silver to burn through, and you'll make more per. You don't mind doing the setup fees because you'll be editing it, and you can make more profit per day. So there's no set in stone thing, but generally, if you're going to be editing orders more often, you're more often than not going to make more profit than someone who's just doing once or twice per day. You're going to incur more fees if you're editing it more, but you're more likely to get your buy order filled and your sell order filled once you sell it, when you have, and you'll have a better turnover rate on your items. So those are just generally the bags. I mean, it's pretty simple when you just look at it for what's shown here in the buy order. But if you do a little bit more research and you go into the mix and match with the enchantments and the qualities of it, you could find items that people aren't really looking for or flipping because they're just looking at the other ones with more competition. And then this is where I usually make my most profit, where this one's like 45% margin. I'll put 3 in here. Maybe I got 3 of them filled on the day. And maybe I'll get 1 of them or 2 of them, but it's still 60,000 silver per item. And if you do this with, all bags, all qualities, you can make millions a day just from doing bags. So keep that in mind. I like to diversify with all different types of things, not just bags. But it is possible because right here you have, let's see how many there are. 3, 6, 12, 18, 24. Let's say 25 or something. Actually, we could just do the multiplication here. 4 times 8. That's 32, right? 32 times, let's say 3 or 4 qualities. You're looking at over 100 different types of bags between the enchantments and the tiers that you could find profit on a day. They change every day, so no matter when you guys watch this video, you could find an item, or at least I would say at least 10 to 20 of these bags that you could flip for a profit. And yeah, I feel like this video is long enough. And as I mentioned, if you guys like this type of video, I could do this for others like capes and armors and just go down the line. It's the same concept, just slightly different because you'll have slightly different customers, aka like gankers might fill these higher quality bags, whereas if you're looking at high quality bags, like the crafters will more likely sell to your like the lower ones because they want to get their silver quick and then go back to crafting, while crafters are more likely to sell not to your like the high quality bags, not to your buy order, but they're more likely to put them here. So this might be a crafter here, 110. And actually did someone buy that already? The one I bought for 7,000, and yeah, so someone bought that. I bought it for 7,000, sold it for 7,700 real quick 700 silver. What was I saying here? Oh yeah, so the really understanding who's going to fill your buy order will help you understand too if it's likely to get filled. If you're a high-end crafter and you're doing, let's say, tier 7 rare or something, it's not likely that they're going to, if I was a crafter, I would not sell it for 370,000. I'd sell it for, put my sell order in for 790,000. But if I was a ganker and I killed someone who had a Grandmaster bag, that's rare, I'm going to sell it instantly to this 370,000 and then go back to ganking. So that's why it's less likely to get these higher tier rarity bags filled. But it is possible. So you got to see what your risk tolerance, how often you play, how much silver you want to invest, and that will help determine what would be the best type of profit for you, depending on your situation, how much you play, and how much silver. And hopefully this video was helpful long enough. And again, if you want to see another series, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.